So it's August 22nd, which means we leave in 2 days. Which is absolutely crazy. It felt like 5 seconds ago we were, just booking flights and kind of talking about it. And now everyone's packing and everybody's like beyond excited. No one can, no one thinks they can wait another 2 days, and China. Oh, China! Oh, my Tina! Oh, my God! It's gonna get serious.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so on Monday I had a really bad skiing day. Get out of the way.
I've always imagined my life to be a TV show. I'm the main character, and those around me are the other actors, coming in and out of the plot, one episode after another. Every good TV show starts with a change, and in my case, it was a change of state, house and school. And of course, faithful to the typical Hollywood formula, this would change my life completely. I was 9 years old when my parents told me we would be moving from Canberra to Sydney. 2 different states, nearly hours apart, yet felt like worlds. Canberra had been my home my entire life. I loved my school. I had a great group of friends. I had visited my new school once before, another Steiner school, totally unfamiliar. While my teacher was nice and she assured me the other kids were too, nothing comforted me in my nerves about starting there. The other kids were scary and exciting. Some were loud and eccentric, some were quiet and more introverted. They were all so different from each other. They weren't the average bunch of kids. A lot of them had been going to school together since kindergarten, so the fact that they'd known each other since they were small children made me even more anxious. I didn't know it yet, but that day I met the people who would one day become my family.
It's not more populated than
well, it is.
Can I just say Jim's tripping out because he thinks we're going to be catching a plane.
We're being whistled.
It's been 48 hours since I've had a real sleep. I feel great.
I bet you do.
Being 10 years old was so dramatic. I wanted to behave like an older kid, but I was still very much a child. However, I did have much more important things to worry about, such as which boy I liked, who was going to the movies with who, and what I could do to get in the popular girls' good books. In fact, I wanted to get into anyone's good books. For a long time I had no real friends. But then I found Romy, and later Kelsey, and suddenly everything was different. Our childhood was slowly dissolving, but we didn't know it yet. We were desperate for our freedom, going to the movies without our parents, wearing deodorant, everything that was far from adolescence. This wish was granted in a trip, away from parents, away from school, and we would leave it all behind, headed for the coast, together, ready for a new adventure. It was definitely not what I was used to. As I travelled through my first year at Lorien, my entire life was constantly changing. In 12 short months, I had my best friend, what I'd thought to be an enemy, and the typical romantic interests. Everything was a theatrical event, and the end of the world was always pending. We lived each day waiting for the next exciting thing. Everyone had their groups. There were the favoured girls, the boys, and there was me, in between. Each year passed in what seemed like a blur of physical transformations and social disasters. My urge to return to Canberra began to slowly fade. I had an entirely new life, filled with new friends and new places to be explored. I started to truly feel accepted.
Such a little stupid asking you can't why you've been anywhere. Well, if you're asking me, I'm fine. Maddie, look. No, just leave it. It doesn't matter. On him.
Okay, we all ready? We dig down as far as we can. Build up this wall. Tarp over the top. And we have the wall built around the back, so that's going to stop the wind, the ice and the rain. Oh! Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're loud down near the back.
What's his name?
This is Lucifer.
You can see he's guarding our shelter.
He's my best buddy. Yeah,
He's not full alive yet, but as you can see, he's guarding our
Stick
shelter.
his nose on his eye. Don't show it.
Just a little bit.
I can't do it.
That's
Hi. I never get on these things. Here's the inside scoop on Indies. What would you call inside scoop on the gossip skin. Accident, maybe? Accident. I was going to say attack, but accident. Oh my god. Okay. What happened?
Well, I was standing at the bottom of the line and Romy kind of ran into the back of my skis and then Sam ran over my hand. He hit Romy and Romy went ramming into my back. And then I was like, oh yeah, you're going to be okay. And the patrol came and was like, got to get the whole boat, mat, deck brace, everything.
It looks really small. Yay. Peace out, dude. Don't take drugs. And also, peace out, dude, and don't take drugs.
Oh, I can do it.
Oh, nice job.
You know, that's why I'm trying to get it.
Is it filming? Do I have to talk?
No, it's been a really fun trip, but I can't wait to get home.
And she stole my beanie. She stole my beanie.
And I'm her therapist.
The biggest trip of my life came in my third year at Lorien when we travelled to Northwest Island. We would be gone for 2 whole weeks, a period of time I had never spent away from home. And we drove away together, ready for the unknown, and I had never had so much fun in my life. It seemed one moment I was eating lunch on my own, and the next I was in my 4th year at Lorien and we were in our last year of primary school. It was a year of change and of endings, not just for primary, but for friendships. Not only did one of my best friends announce that it would be her last year at the school, but another close friend pulled away. We were all out of sorts. It didn't seem like the right time to spend 3 weeks overseas together, but that's what we did. We found ourselves in New Zealand, 23 days of incredible travel ahead of us. We drove across the country. We saw snow and rain. We did things that were beyond what we thought we were capable of. The trip wasn't without turmoil. Anxiety, jealousy, and exhaustion brought us to discussions that lasted hours, our anger melting away as we sorted things out and became closer and closer.
We lost our wheel and sheet off our axle. How cool!
It's moments like that that would bring us back to each other. Back home, it was merely moments before we were standing in front of the school, graduating from what felt like our childhood and taking our first steps towards our future.
Like 3 degrees and 99.9% humidity.
The heat really takes it out of everybody, and people being hungry and tired, you know, it feels like we haven't slept properly at all in 2 days. So everyone's pretty tired, but I'm really surprised at how well everyone's holding up. I started high school how most people do. Excited, terrified, and a little naive. But nothing could frighten me too much with my class by my side.
Hello! Nurse butter! Ooh, Nesquik! Yeah! From previous take!
We had so much fun in our first year of high school. Everything was fresh and unexplored. Anything we were doing was for the first time. We had freedom and responsibility.
Now this is our puny tent. Yeah, we had no rooms for our bags, so I'll show you where we put them. Ow, my foot's stuck. But then there are people who have like this tent, which is like as big as a freaking house. Hi. Hello!
Is that a video camera?
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
Hopefully in the morning we won't be woken up by crazy crows. They're like, that's how we will have woken up. It is. It's yucky though. Look at him. He's so Ali and Siobhan died. No, they didn't. They're at the toilet. Oh, Alex tried to set my hair on fire. That was fun. Good time. Good time.
I wanted desperately to be noticed by my peers, by my teachers, and by my friends. I was ready to show everyone what I could do. But if there was one thing I learnt that year, it was that sometimes things don't go the way you want them to. There are things we can't control, and at that point in my life, I found that hard to accept. I began to allow my jealousy to get in the way of friendship, and because of it, I chose a side in an argument and momentarily lost a friend. And that is one of my biggest regrets. A major divide formed between groups. The group as a whole was in two halves and resentment tore us apart. That year we travelled to the coast to surf, and later to Barrington Tops for kayaking and canoeing. I was so frightened for this trip. The activities intimidated me, and I faced them reluctantly, only to feel a sense of pride when I finally completed them. The divide in some groups within the class drove some back home towards the end of the trip. Leaving a class trip was something no one could imagine, for they were seen as such special things. It was clear that the class and those within it were not in a good place. That's the thing with groups and the dynamics within them. It's impossible for there to be endless peace. But sometimes, in order for us to become stronger, we had to be torn apart and given time to heal. And that's exactly what happened. The pain eventually faded and we found balance and friendship once again. High school changes everything in the most cliched ways possible. We were no different to any other teenagers. We were all confronted with things like drinking, parties, relationships, and we all dealt with them in a variety of ways. My 9th year of school and my 6th year at Lorien brought many new experiences with it. It was the year I truly felt I began to find my place in high school, and I loved every moment of it. I felt incredibly close to my friends. I had the role I wanted in both the school play and the high school musical, and I was having so much fun. I was only briefly slowed down by an injury, which put me out of action for the class play and for the summer. If there was one thing my injury taught me, it was that I had the most wonderful and supportive friends and family I could ask for. Year 10 was another year of dramatic changes. It was the last year for some people, so everything felt like it was coming to a close. The last time we would have winter festival with these people. The last class trip. For me, it almost felt like those who were moving schools were also moving further away from the group. The class was a bit scattered. We said goodbye, knowing our relationships would change forever.
I'm about to die.
I don't mind the motion when I'm sleeping. When I wake up, old as me.
It's like a Macca's chip. Went to KFC for a reason. Yeah?
Yeah, you normal Converse?
Us being separated as a class into two different categories of nice and not nice, sort of, I knew the next day that there would be a void between us.
This is a spacious Beijing night train. It's like Harry Potter, except a train, not a bus.
Oh my god, it is.
So tell me about the fiasco on the train.
Oh, it was ridiculous. I have never felt so uncomfortable in my whole life.
What's it like having people stare at you like you're an alien?
It's horrible. It makes me feel really dirty.
Yeah.
Like I want to have a Dettol shower. And I know it's just because we're different or whatnot, but it's just hard. It's so different from Australia. It's hard to accept that.
Yeah.
I just find it so weird.
Not that you can see anything outside. You can see me. Hello, me.
The beginning of year 11 was a little disorientating. We had to readjust. The class felt empty for a while. We were missing so many people. But now we were smaller. We had the ability to grow even closer than we were before. It was our last year as kids, and while we wanted to rush ahead towards the future, there was a part of us that wanted to hold on to our last year of adolescence. It was a new year and we were still experiencing things for the first time. We learnt new skills, found new excitement, and loved new friends. We were also stepping out of our friendship circle, doing more outside of school, starting to step closer and closer to adulthood. We prepared for our last school trip in Australia. Something which was both exciting and disappointing. It was a big trip. 3 weeks, driving up to beautiful Cairns, scuba diving up the coast. We had been beginning to feel the pressure of what was to come, so escaping to the Sunshine Coast was exactly what we needed.
Scuba diving? Yeah! Oh. We're going to see some fish and some... maybe sharks. Yeah, right. And coral. I'm scared that someone's going to say something I'm not going to understand. Me too.
Taking me back to LA, to Miss Monroe and misspent youth away with those run, whirlwind run, further and further away.
It's almost there. It's like 99.
was over too quickly. We were suddenly saying goodbye to everything we had known and stepping into what would be the biggest year of our lives.
Been in Tibet for a while. I don't really remember. It's definitely different from China. We can all really notice the difference, especially in the people. You know, the people here are really beautiful. We walk past them and they're all like, hello! They all wave and smile and want to talk to us and touch us and whatever, which, but in a friendly way, which is so different to China, where everyone just kind of stares at you like you're a piece of meat or something. We went camping near the lake, Yamdrok, something like that, which was really cool. We didn't end up going to the lake that we planned on going to because it actually snowed. All the camping crew and stuff had set up this food tent. They had warm tea and coffee for us, and they had all these massive blankets and sleeping bags for us. I don't think anybody slept well.
How'd you sleep, Harrison?
Between a rock and a hard place, probably about a 0.
Horribly, don't even that.
Loving this. Oh, we're bailing early. Run, Martina.
So we're looking forward to heading back into China, and kind of getting back to something almost familiar now. We fly out to Chengdu on Saturday morning.
Having fun.
What is this?
Some say that anything in life worth doing is difficult, and I discovered the truth in that when I began the process of my major work. I knew from early on I wanted to make a film. The only question was, what would be my subject? After months of brainstorming, I finally decided on focusing on my class at Lorien and our journey together through primary and high school. The more I observed our class and the tight-knit friendship we had formed, I thought how amazing it was that our small group could become so close and how much we affected one another in our everyday lives. Through further research on groups and their behaviours, I discovered the study of group dynamics. which would be the subject of my thesis. I finally had an idea of what I was doing, only now I had to decide where to begin. As I travelled through my major works, collecting research for my written piece and footage and photos for my film, the task in front of me began to prove more difficult than I had anticipated. While everything that could go wrong went wrong, including my computer crashing, I continued with trying to make it work, and in doing so, managed to find the fun in what I was doing. Throughout my years at Lorien, I've learned many things, one of which being that while some things may be tough and intimidating, once we begin, we're able to find the fun in them. Much like our day spent filling in potholes on a road in the Dara village. It was a long morning, filled with hard work and many frustrating moments. Yet, through the process, we found time for fun, moments we could enjoy and appreciation for what we were doing. That is the same experience I've had with my major works. While my film has morphed from many different storylines and focus points, it has now transformed into the telling of my own story.
In the VIP, Ellie got my car out front. Tell me, do you wanna kick it in the
We arrived in Shanghai, which for me was a bittersweet thing. It was a part of the trip I'd been anticipating, yet I knew it was the last stop. While I knew we would be reunited with our Dragon Trip guides, and that was exciting, we had to say a real goodbye to them, and to China, and to each other. Seeing Ramsey, Fly and Neil wasn't like seeing our tour guides again. It was like meeting up with old friends, and it was one of the best nights of the trip. I didn't want to leave. While I knew I was travelling on to Thailand, it wasn't going to be the same as the last 4 weeks.
Today's gonna be the day that they're gonna give it back to you.
I wasn't ready to leave China, to leave the class. Kelsey and I watched them board the plane, waving goodbye. And it was like waving goodbye to the last 10 years of my life.
Said maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me.
The last 12 months have gone by in a flash. A terrifying, wonderful flash. To say my last year of school hasn't been tough would be a lie. I've been no stranger to stress and anxiety. The year started and will conclude with the major works process, something that has been both a blessing and a curse. Taking on the project of making a short film was something I imagined to be mostly fun, but honestly, it has been quite difficult. My journey through Lorien Novalis has been an experience that is hard to describe. Without it, I would not have seen the amazing things I've seen, done the incredible things I've done, or even become the person I am today. None of it would have been worth it without the people I've shared this experience with. To call the class my best friends and my family is an honour no one else could ever understand. The bond we share is something that has survived the worst of arguments, the saddest of moments, and the most incredible joys. No one outside our friendship could comprehend what we have experienced together. I never knew why I'd played out that TV scenario in my head rather than a full-length film, but now I understand why. In reality, we can't wrap up our lives into an hour and a half and end the scene. Life is a series of lessons to be learned and changes to be experienced. It's a long road that we're all travelling down, and that same Hollywood story tells of how life throws us what we least expect, is one that is replayed over and over again. 10 years ago, I had a completely different life. We've gone from those little kids in primary to mature adults who know how to be our own people. I don't know if it's fair to say that we're different to other friendship groups, but that's how it's always felt to me. Our first steps into the world are going to be difficult, but I know that together we will figure it out. My life has been anything but average, and I owe everything to them.